Today, I'm going to be covering the top 4 reasons that I see rehab centers not getting results in SEO. And the first reason is that they are not targeting the right search features. So if you're trying to rank for alcohol near me, I just looked it up. My office is in Plano, Texas, and I see that the first results are going to be the sponsored results where you have to pay to get shown. Followed by the sponsored results, we have the local map pack where we have the top 3 local results, followed by a sponsored local map pack result. And then finally, we have the traditional search results showing up at like the 10th place. And so if your agency or your team really spent all of their time focusing on traditional search and they rank number 1, the reality is they're not even getting shown until the 10th result for this specific search term. And so really what we want to make sure is we are in all of the search features. We want to be making sure we're optimizing for the map pack especially. We want to, when it makes sense, we want to get in Google Ads when we have the budget and we need extra emissions. We want to also be doing AI SEO for search terms, maybe that are more top of funnel that have more AI overviews. And so when it comes to the actual pillars of SEO, what makes up SEO, I find there to be 3 main pillars. And in each of these pillars, rehab centers make mistakes. So when it comes to technical SEO, nowadays it's become much easier to get the proper site structure, the proper internal markups, schema, your meta descriptions, all that stuff has become much, much easier. But what I've seen a lot of the times is we have agencies, in-house teams that use AI tools to do the technical SEO, which is great, but then they never really look over it themselves. And what happens is when you have AI or you try to automate the technical SEO, it's very quick, it works, but sometimes if you don't check, there can be some pretty big technical SEO mistakes that you're making. So really just not checking over your work is the biggest mistake I see for technical SEO, but technical SEO is becoming much and much easier as the technology gets better. Then when it comes to content creation, actually creating pages, what I find is that nowadays it's easier than ever to create content, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should create more content. And I want to kind of pull up a visual for you to show that what creating too many pages, what that could do to your site. So let's say we have 2 websites, the black website and the green website, and each of them have 100 website authority. Now this is really oversimplifying it, but let's say the green one has 3 different pages, okay? And that 100 authority that it has is getting distributed equally into the 3 different pages that are on the main page. Then what happens is if you have a website with 100 authority and you have too many pages, then what happens is the authority can really start to get diluted, especially if you aren't individually building up authority for each page and they're only getting their authority from the homepage. Then if you're creating too many pages too soon, your authority can really start to get diluted. And so especially when we're trying to rank for new terms, or if you have a new site, you want to make sure that you're really being very, very particular with the pages you create. And we want those pages to build up authority to start ranking before we start building up a bunch of new pages. Because as these pages rank and they get more authority, then they'll have more authority to pass to other pages. But in the beginning, or when you're going for a new term, you have little authority built up. So we want to be very, very careful with creating too many pages for SEO. Now, the third pillar of SEO is backlinks and brand mentions. This is where you get other websites in your local area or that are in your industry to link back to you. And Google sees that as a sign of credibility when another website is referencing you on their site. And so what the goal is we want to get as many high quality relevant links back to our site. And when it comes to doing backlink building and getting brand mentions, the biggest mistake is definitely just going too cheap and not putting enough work in. A lot of treatment centers don't realize that it's a kind of get what you pay for deal with backlinks and brand mentions. It's either you're going to put a lot of work in doing digital PR and doing manual outreach, or you're going to pay a lot of money for the good spots, because the websites that are high quality, they know that getting a placement on their site is valuable. So they're going to charge accordingly. The better the website, typically the higher the price the backlink, or the harder and the more effort it takes to get the backlink by doing outreach, the more valuable it's going to be. And so in the treatment center space, SEO is so commoditized. Everybody's pretty much publishing the same pages. Everybody has the correct technical SEO. So really for Google, it's a popularity contest. Who builds up the most credibility? And that's who has the best backlink profile. And it's sort of a whoever spends the most time and money on backlinks is probably going to have the best quality backlinks. And so in a sense, yeah, you kind of do need to outspend and outwork your competitors to rank higher on SEO than them. You're typically not going to beat a competitor in SEO if you're not willing to have a high backlink budget or at least match what they're doing, because it's a get what you pay for game in SEO, especially with backlinks. And so, yeah, when it comes to SEO and not getting results, typically I see it's one of the four results. Either you're not targeting all the search features and you're only ranking for one specific search feature. You're not putting in effort to check your technical SEO and go through, make sure it's correct after you have AI tools do the work for you. You're creating too much content. You're not being strategic about what pages you post and when, and you're just getting post and content creation happy. And then we have going cheap on backlinks, not putting the time, effort, and investment into getting the backlinks that you need to rank. So those are the biggest mistakes we see with SEO. It definitely is a competitive industry. It's not easy, but if you do SEO correctly, it's not rocket science. There's really nothing that's crazy new. It's kind of this, what's been working 10 years ago is still working today with a couple new twists with the AI search features coming in, but it's all more or less the same. And the treatment centers that do the fundamentals, the basics, and are willing to invest are typically going to be the ones that rank the highest in the search results.